All right, what's going on, Fafo Nation? All right, so I have a different kind of a show for you today. Today I'm going to be talking a bit of trash about the governor of Colorado. Um, uh, Governor Jared Polis, he is, um, in my opinion, he is a usurper, a snake in the grass, a I don't have a nice thing to say about him right now. I don't. Um, I'm sure he could be a nice person. Um, However, he is usurping the Constitution of the United States of America. He is essentially making it illegal for people to own firearms in the state of Colorado. Um, the reason that I'm so worked up about this right now instead of in July when this all happened is because I wasn't paying that much attention. I had other things going on in my life, and I was busy, so I didn't happen to see what he was doing. This House Bill 274. I'm sorry, 1174. Um, yeah, I mean that's something make you upset. Let's see. I'm gonna have to swing over here to my computer so I can actually read it a little bit and let you know my thoughts. Whatever. I guess I'm just gonna have to insert that later. So my thought is I have my pocket constitution here. Oh, now it wants to work. So before I really get into what the new bill is, we have a Second Amendment in the United States Constitution. And Constitution of the State of Colorado, Article 2, Section 13. The right of no person to keep and bear arms in defense of home, person, property, or the aid of civil power when thereunto legally summoned shall be in question. That's the Colorado State Constitution. And he is violating that with all the shenanigans. We'll say shenanigans. And I'm calling him a usurper because that's what he is. And I'm going to read from the Declaration of Independence real quick. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same objectives, evinces, and designed to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is the right, it is the duty, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. I'm going to go ahead and say that, in my opinion, Governor Jared Polis fits that definition. It is our right and it is our duty to throw off such guard. I hope that with the events that have been going on recently, with the Charlie Kirk assassination, the Antifa shenanigans, for the lack of a better term, that is going on in Portland, Chicago, The new gentleman who shot at a man's home because he got caught tearing down Trump signs. The guy whose home it was, he was inside, saw it on video camera, grabbed his shotgun, put a couple rounds in the air as warning shots. The gentleman, runs back to his Jeep, goes through the sunroof and starts shooting at this guy, and barely missed him. The refrigerator that was sitting on the front porch had a big old bullet hole in it, and he was only standing a few feet away. That is attempted murder. I don't really care what anybody thinks. That is what that is. With all the kind of craziness going on in the world, and seeing that our own governments, our own state governments, are trying to deny people the right to protect themselves. I'm going to have to get over here real quick. At any rate, pretty much everything from a Glock 19, an AK styled rifle, a AR-15, anything that you can quickly reload is pretty much illegal in the state of Colorado as of July 1st, 2025. How I missed this, I am not 100%. I'm almost 100% positive I would have voted against this. If this was something that was in there from the last voting cycle, I completely missed it. I don't think I missed it, but maybe I did. But I highly doubt it. Governor Polis is an openly gay man. I'm not going to attack, that, because there's so many jokes I can say, but I won't, because that's a step too far for me. I'm not going to make fun of his sexuality. However, when you are going against your own state's constitution, the Constitution of the United States of America, I don't actually see how what he's done with House Bill 1174. I don't know how that even happened. Yes. Colorado is a very, very blue state because of Colorado Springs, the Denver area, Boulder, Pueblo, I think. Those are the reasons, because they're highly populated. Where I live in the Four Corners, that's not such a issue. I mean, people here generally pretty open-minded. I don't really care. You want to smoke weed? Smoke weed. Do that. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. I want to go out and I want to shoot my guns because I like going out and shooting my guns. That's what I should do. I don't hurt nobody. Yeah, I'm out there killing, pests with my AR. I kill prairie dogs, and I kill a lot of them. I can shoot anywhere between 20 and 60 a day. When you make any firearm with a detachable box magazine, it's pretty much illegal in the state of Colorado. That is ridiculous. anybody who trains very much with any firearm will probably be pretty proficient at reloads, whether it's with a revolver or with a, like what I have. I have a Walther, a PPQ. It's a great gun. They're fun to shoot. It's got one of the best factory triggers I've ever shot. That's my, pretty much go-to. It's a pig. It eats anything. Brass case, steel. It doesn't matter. It'll go through all of it. It's a good time. Then we have my Remington 700. It's a bolt action, and I have a detachable box magazine because that the stock that came with it was flimsy. The attached magazine that's on there, it holds 4 rounds. And the spring was wearing out pretty good, so I wasn't even able to, load properly. And I don't want to damage any of my firearms, so I went ahead and I got an MDT stock, and it came with a detachable box magazine, holds 10 rounds. And I don't understand how that is now an illegal firearm. I'm a firearms instructor, so I have way more training than, the training requirements that they're talking about. If you've had hunter's safety, you go from 12 hours down to 4. Yeah, I've got thousands of hours of just firearms training. And if they're going to require me to go to another class to purchase a firearm, that is beyond retarded. There's not a nice way to say it. That's just a level of stupidity I can't condone. And a lot of these lawmakers, if they've ever touched a firearm, it was very short. They don't know how to operate them. They don't know how to appropriately clean them. They don't know the 4 universal safety rules. They don't know any of this. I watched a video of and it was a news. I want to say it was CNN, but I'm not 100% on that. They were saying that a firearm that was being shot at a watermelon was an AR-15, and it was most clearly a shotgun, and it blew the watermelon into pieces. So you can kind of understand what I'm saying. They don't understand anything about firearms, let alone the amount of training that individuals go through. I've gone through thousands of hours, thousands of rounds. The closest I've ever come to having any sort of mishap with the firearm is I forgot to load it. I didn't put a magazine in. That's as closest that has ever happened to a mishap. I've never had a negligent discharge. I've never had a near miss. I've almost been shot at a range. That was in Gulfport, Mississippi, during a school. They had everybody on the line, and this gal who was several, people down from me had her rifle and turned and was trying to ask a question and shot, and it went about, I don't know, 3-4 feet in front of me. I was not very happy. I was very angry. I have had runaway guns before, though. That happened several times. A runaway gun is usually with a machine gun, 240, 249. Once the barrel gets hot, it'll start cooking off rounds and just shooting the rounds without you touching the trigger, because the barrel's so hot it just cooks it off. Point it in a safe direction, grab the belt, twist it, get it bound up to where it can't shoot anymore. And if you're really short on rounds, you just burn through it. It's fine. Just keep it in a safe direction and let your safety guy, your RSO, know that you had a cook off. It's usually no big deal. And you're swapping barrels like every 200 rounds. But if you're switching the barrel every 200 rounds and you've got 80 people to go, by the end of that course of fire, you're gonna have some cook-offs. It's gonna happen. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like that, the American people, and I'm not talking left or right, I'm talking the American people in general, have the right to have firearms. How am I going to say this? Do I believe that people need a better base on what they're doing? Absolutely. I would say that. There are lots of people that want to buy firearms that probably shouldn't. There is some parts of society that absolutely I agree there needs to be better training in place, but instead of the state requiring individual citizens to pay for those classes, I believe those classes should start in elementary school, to be really honest. I mean, you look back at our history. We didn't have a lot of issues with school shootings and whatnot until well after firearms classes were pulled out of school. I don't believe that people should be sent out and buy a gun. If they truly want a firearm, I believe that they should go out, get the training that they need. And I believe that everybody should have a level of training so that you understand a firearm. And you don't even have to purchase one. You don't even have to buy one. But I believe everybody should have a knowledge base of firearms. That is one of those things that it's like driving. I'm going to use that as an example. It can be scary, but once you learn how to do it and you have a good knowledge base and some experience, it takes the fear out of it. If you're understanding the analogy, it takes the mystery out of it. There's no mystery. There's no guess. So people aren't as afraid of it as what people are. To be 100% honest, I still believe that there's a duty that we as Americans have. Our duty is to exercise the rights that we have. These rights weren't given to us. We were born with them. We were given these rights as human beings. So with the immigration issues that, the United States is going through, where we have millions of undocumented illegal aliens in this country, many of whom are not here just for the American dream. Sure, you can say that there's a good majority. Maybe. But I can't really say that that's all of them. And when you can't say it's all of them, people need to know how to protect themselves. Where I live, law enforcement is anywhere from 3 to 15 minutes from my house. So law enforcement wouldn't get here for 3 to 15 minutes. A lot can happen in 3 minutes. So imagine what can happen in 15. So protecting yourself is definitely a priority I have, due to the fact that I'm a parent. My children know how to use firearms, every single one of them. I've got one that I am going to be training to a higher level, just because he has zero knowledge base of it. I don't know if he's ever been shooting before, but he will, because this Saturday I have friends coming over. We're gonna sight in some rifles and do a little bit of shooting, and then I'm gonna be teaching those guys a class. It won't be that on Saturday, but it's going to be more like a barbecue, and get everybody's firearms dialed in to shoot at 100 yards. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be teaching them very basic things. So Damien's going to get trained up right alongside him. He's 16. He doesn't know very much about firearms, but I plan on making that an issue that is not an issue. I will remedy that problem, because I believe everybody should have a basic knowledge of firearm safety, how to use a firearm, when to use a firearm, and when not to. I was in law enforcement for a long time, so I have a higher expectation out of myself and my family when it comes to using a firearm, especially in like self-defense situations, or in any situation that is not common. Shoot, don't shoot scenarios. I will be definitely putting the guys I'm teaching this class to. That is something that we are going to have conversations about. Just because I have anybody that I train, I have a higher expectation for, and that's just because it's important. It's important for them to know and understand exactly the legal ramifications. And anytime I teach a class, whether it's firearm safety or concealed carry, I always tell them that if you shoot somebody, just expect you're going to jail. You are. Will you be let go after, everything's all said and done? More than likely, as long as you are doing things appropriately and it's done right, you should be in the clear. But again, I have a higher expectation because I was law enforcement. I don't want people walking away with questions. If they walk away with questions, I messed up. And I don't like that. Matter of fact, I still keep in contact with my mailing list of clients that I've instructed before, just because that I'm always asking them, hey, is there anything that you don't know that you feel like you need to know? And I haven't done it with all of my clients, just because there's a handful of them that I feel like would be super insulted if I did it. But that's just because I knew them growing up, and some of them are some good hard dudes. So, going back to Governor Polis, man, I have some thoughts. I have to pull my notes out. All right, so Governor Polis, he is he's a Democrat, openly gay man. He's a Californian, came to Colorado, brought their California shenanigans to Colorado. Pardon me. What else? Oh, he took his mother's name. That was funny. Um, he didn't like Jared Schultz, apparently, so he decided he was gonna just go by Polis, which is his mother's maiden name, I believe. Uh, yeah, I don't see anywhere here where it says he served in any real capacity. He's a service. He's a servant of the people, but he does not serve the people. Sure, he might be serving, some, but I don't believe that he's doing a good job for any of the Coloradans I know. He was a part of the Princeton Juggling Club. That's a I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny. Oh God, you juggled. Jesus. Oh man. I did not know that he founded Pro Flowers. That's a thing, I guess. Yeah, I just like there's is one of the Gang of Four, I guess, where that they set up to support all of the Democratic races in the state of Colorado. Um, Man, I don't know that he's. There's very little in here that like I didn't already know. Um, but there's the issues with, um, you know, the gun legislation that he's put out is pretty contradictory to what is going on in the Supreme Court right now. I know that there are things about uh, force reset triggers, that kind of stuff. They're not machine guns, but they can kind of make it seem like it is. Um, yeah, that's if it's being upheld by the other courts, I think maybe you should not be trying to jack up other American citizens, rights. It's just it's kind of a mess. I think that I'm sure he's a good dude. I've never personally met him. I've heard some things, but from people who have met him, I won't repeat them just because they're not my own experience. If I have them on, I will definitely ask their opinion. As somebody who is an independent, I truly believe that thinking for yourself is a must. Just because they have a D or an R next to their name is no reason to vote for them. Look at their platform. What are they about? Who's funding them? That's always a big one. Who funds who before that they're elected or during their campaign? The things that he's done, I hope that we get a new governor very soon, just because that this is absolutely out of control, especially with all the political violence that's gone on in the world in the very recent past. People taking shots at President Trump, Charlie Kirk assassination. What I was talking about earlier, the gentleman from North Carolina, being shot at on his own porch when he gave 2 warning shots pointed up in the air. If anybody is a gun guy, that's probably not the wisest thing to do, is to shoot a firearm in the air, because what goes up must come down. That is a for real thing. So just, read, guys, come on. I know Denver is, a very deep blue area. Pretty much everything on the east slope of Colorado is pretty blue. And I probably wouldn't have that much of a problem with, it being so blue if they just, respected the rights of the people of this state and the United States. And I don't really feel like that they do. I feel like that they believe that if you take the firearms away from the law-abiding people, there won't be firearms, which is not the way that works. Then it would just be, criminals that have them, and then we'd just be defenseless. Yeah. So, and that's like saying, you shouldn't have a fire extinguisher because that there are firefighters. That's the same logic. You don't need a firearm because you have police. It doesn't make sense. So, well, that's all I've got. You have a wonderful day, and you cannot drink all day unless you start in the morning. So have a good one. Cheers, guys.